Alright, what is up YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys with my Fortune Lady Archetype video. So this one had to be done digitally because I don't own all of the respective cards I needed for today's video. But don't worry, all of the other videos hopefully will have all of the Archetype needed cards. If not, the digital setup will always be there. But I'm very excited about this one because it features the Fortune Ladies. So just like the Fortune Fairies, the Fortune Ladies were also used by the beautiful Carly Carmine in the 5Ds anime when she became a Dark Signer. The Fortune Ladies are pretty much all spellcaster type monsters with different attributes. The one thing they hold together is that they have question mark attack and defense points, meaning that they gain attack and defense based on their level times a certain amount. For each of the sections of Fortune Ladies, I'll be going over how much attack. I'll be going over each of their stats and effects, as well as some mentionable monsters in spells and traps to talk about each of the Fortune Ladies. Not to mention, I'm also be talking about the differences between the Fortune Ladies and their counterparts, the Fortune Fairies. As we all know, when Carly Carmine became a Dark Signer, uh, her deck changed as well. It went from the cute and adorable Fortune Fairies to the lovely and sexy Fortune Ladies. So we will be going over each of them. Funny enough, I don't have any of this censored TCG artwork here online because that was also another thing. A lot of the Fortunately artwork had to be censored because they were very skin toned, and the skin tone was replaced with latex as things. And even one Fortune lady had her entire setup changed due to her outfit. So, without further ado, we're going to get started. So, we're actually going to start off, ironically enough, with a Fortune Lady that doesn't have a Fortune Fairy counterpart, and that is Fortune Lady Pass, known in the OCG as Fortune Lady Pasty. Her level and her attack and defense are equal to her level times 200. Once a turn, all Fortune Ladies have the same similar effect. They'll increase their level by 1, a maximum of 12, and this occurs during each standby phase. Now, her ability is that once a turn, you can target any number of spellcaster type monsters on your hand, field, or graveyard to target one fortunate monster you control, and increase that monster's level or reduce that monster's level by the number of monsters you banish through this card's effect. You only use the effect of Fortune Lady Pass once per turn. So, funny enough about her outfit is that her outfit is similar to Carly Carmine's Dark Signer scheme, where it was an orange set cloak with hood as well as high black leggings. It's a very beautiful style of art for Fortune Lady Pass to resemble her duelist and the change her duelist went into during the series. This lovely lady is featured in Rising Rampage as one of the many Fortune Lady cards that came during the series. Next up is we go on to the Fortune Ladies themselves. So we have Fortune Lady Light, known in the OCG as Fortune Lady Lighty. Her stat lineup is similar to Fortune Lady Pass, where she gains attack and defense equal to her level times 200. And during the standby phase, she increases her level by 1. When this card leaves the field by a card effect, you can summon one Fortune Lady monster from your deck. Her Fortune Fairy counterpart is Fortune Fairy Hikari. They have a similar ability in which they are able to summon other monsters from the deck. Fortune Fairy Hikari's ability is that she can summon a level 1 spellcaster from the deck using sending one monster on your side of the field to the graveyard, or does it say graveyard? No, just to the graveyard to get that monster. While Fortune Lady Light just says whenever she's removed by a card effect. So you can combine the two monsters, or you can combine Fortune Lady Light with Fortune Lady Pass and get her effect triggered off there. The next Fortune Lady is Fortune Lady Fire, known in the OCG as Fortune Fairy. It's known as Fortune Lady Fiery. Her ability is that when this card is special summoned in attack position by the effects of a Fortune Lady card, you can destroy one face-up monster your opponent controls, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's attack. So Fortune Lady Fire is the Fortune Lady counterpart to Fortune Fairy Eam. These two monsters have the ability to destroy cards on the field. While Fortune Fairy Eam destroys set cards, Fortune Lady Fire destroys face-up monsters. and then inflicts damage to them. This lovely lady and Fortune Lady Light were introduced to us in Ancient Prophecy as the first two Fortune Lady monsters to be introduced. Funny enough, they both share the same similar amount of attack and defense points. The only difference is Fortune Lady Fire is one level ahead of her in Fire attribute. Now we move on to the next attribute, and that is Fortune Lady Wind, known in OCG as Fortune Lady Windy. Her ability is that when she is normal summoned, you can select any number of spell and trap cards. You can destroy any number of spell and trap cards your opponent controls equal to the number of face-up Fortune Lady monsters you control. Fortunately, Wind is pretty much background destruction. Funny enough, her counterpart, Fortune Fairy Hue, does not share a similar effect to her. So the only thing they share is that they're both wind attributed spellcaster type monsters that are level 3. Fortune Lady Wind's attack and defense is 300 times her level. And in her TCG artwork, her thighs have actually been increased, and she was actually given a different colored jumpsuit. She was now rocking the color of blue, and not a color scheme based on her actual outfit. Now we move on to Fortune Lady Water, known in the OCG as Fortune Lady Watery. Level 4, spellcaster type monster, water attribute. She gains 300 attack and defense equal to her level, just like Fortune Lady Wind. And her ability is that when this card shows someone, you control another face of when you control a face of Fortune Lady, except Fortune Lady Water, you draw 2 cards. Fortune Lady Water's counterpart is Fortune Fairy Sui, who they're both water attribute, have water symbols on their stats and in their backgrounds. And level 4 monsters. Fortune Fairy, the beautiful Fortune Lady Water, does have some additional perks to her. Is that she's not a once per turn effect. She's an automatic effect when she is special summoned while you control another Fortune Lady. Just as long as that Fortune Lady isn't a copy of water, you're pretty much good. Fortune Lady Doc, known in the OCG as Fortune Lady Docky. Level 5 Dark Attribute spellcaster type monster. She gains 400 attack and defense times her level. And then, of course, just like the others, she gains a level during each of your standby phases. When a face of Fortune Lady monster you control destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can select in special summon one Fortune Lady monster in your graveyard. Just like Fortune Lady Water, this is not a once per turn effect, and she does not have to be the Fortune Lady destroying a monster and sending it to the grave. Any other Fortune Lady can react to it as well. She is one of the few high level Fortune Lady monsters in the deck and in the game that's within the main deck. Her Fortune Fairy counterpart is Fortune Fairy Anne, who is also Dark Attribute level 5 in the spellcaster type monster. They do share a similar dark motif, as purple is a sign of of uh, of negative in Japan. It's a very negative lookout when it comes to the color purple. Also, to note, the name Fortune Lady Dark has in the OCG had to desperately be changed because it could be very offensive, as they had to drop the Y and turn her into Fortune Lady Dark. I think even through her attack, Curse of Darkness was actually changed as well. Just to make sure it wasn't anything too crazy within the translation setup. Now, the next Fortune Lady and the last in the main deck is Fortune Lady Earth, known in the OCG as Fortune Lady Earthy. Earth attribute level 6 spellcaster type monster. She gains 400 attack and defense times her level and increases her level during each standby phase. Fortune Lady Earth's effect is whenever this card's level increases, inflict 400 points of damage to your opponent. So she's the aspect of a burn card. She's the highest statted Fortune Lady within the main deck. And just next to her is her Fortune Fairy counterpart, Fortune Fairy Chi, who is also level 6 Earth and Spellcaster type. The funny thing about these two lovely Fortune monsters is that they have the same bifocals as their duelists, Carly Carmine, where they were nice big blue bifocals that these lovely ladies rock both in card and in the anime. Funny thing to know about Fortune Lady Earth, her attack was not changed, as it is called Cursed Thorns in the OCG, as well as Curse of, as well as in the TCG. Fortune Lady Earth, Fortune Lady Dark, Fortune Lady Water, and Fortune Lady Wind can all be found in the set after Ancient Prophecy, which is known as a Stardust Overdrive, which did include more in the rest of that main support. While Fortune Lady Pass in the next Fortune Lady we'll be talking about, Fortune Lady Every, were reintroduced within the Fortune, was released in the later set, Rising Rampage, which came 10 years after the first six Fortune Ladies were released. Yes, that's right, 6 years later, and they finally end up getting a tuner and a synchro monster. So now let's talk about the self-proclaimed boss monster of the Fortune archetype. Fortune Lady Every, known in OCG as Fortune Lady Every. Light attributes, spellcaster type synchro monsters, level 7. Question mark attack and defense. So she needs one tuner and one or more non-tuner spellcaster type monsters. Just like Fortune Lady Earth and Dark, she gains 400 attack and defense times her level. When this monster's level increases, you can banish one spellcaster type. When you banish one face-up monster your opponent controls, and during each standby phase, the monster level increases by 1, a max of 12. During your opponent's end phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish one spellcaster type monster in your grave to special summon this monster to your field. You can use this effect of Fortune Lady every once per turn. So this lovely lady can be using any spellcaster variation deck. She can easily be splashed just like her tuner monster, Fortune Lady Pass, and these monsters have no trouble cooperating with other spellcaster type decks. The crazy thing about this lovely lady and Fortune Fairy Pass is that neither of them were censored when coming here to the TCG. That's right, that is her exact outfit in the OCG. Now, maybe it's due to her staff in her hand shielding off her breast. Maybe that's why she was free to come here to TCG just as much as the OCG. Also, to note, this Fortune Lady has a similar scheme and setup to Solitaire Magician, another monster that's known in the Fortune archetype. Sadly enough, she is not considered a Fortune Lady, but she does have Fortune Lady in her effect. So I did want to at least talk about her, and of course the monster standing next to her, the Cabazales in Witch of Faith. So, to feature off these monsters, Cabazales in the Witch of Fate and Solitaire Magician were both from Stardust Overdrive, so they were some not direct support of the Fortune Ladies. Solitaire Magician, level 4, light attribute, spellcaster type monster, 1600 attack, 1300 defense. And her effect reads, once per turn, you can select one face-up Fortune Lady monster you control and one face-up monster you're on the field. Reduce the level of the selected Fortune Lady by 3, then destroy this other selected monster. So you pretty much get a way to destroy something on the field without having to deal with such the hassle. This monster did get censored as her jumpsuit was changed to white. Funny enough, all the Fortune Ladies had different assets, like I said before, and even some of their indirect support, like this lovely Fortune Lady, like this lovely Solitaire Magician, who does eventually grow into being the beautiful Fortune Lady Every. Next up is the Cabazales in Witch of Fate. Level 4, Earth Attribute, Spellcaster type monster, 1800 attack, 0 defense. When your opponent special summons a monster or monsters, you can remove one monster in your graveyard with question mark attack, and if you do, destroy the special summon monsters. So she was pretty much a way to help Fortune Ladies clear the board without relying on their question mark attack. That also set up for the graveyard by banishing them. You can easily set up for cards like Fortune Future and all of that. So now that we have that all out of the way, let's talk about some of the spells and traps the Fortune Ladies own. The first one is Time Passage. Quick play spell. Target one face of Fortune Lady on your side of the field. Increase that monster's level by 3 until the end of the turn. So in combination, as you see here, with Fortune Lady Fortune Lady Light, one aspect, increasing the monster's level will increase their attack and defense, and in some cases, like Fortune Lady Earth, that will allow her to inflict burn damage. The next card up is the Great Fortune's Future. This card's effect is select one banished Fortune Lady monster and return that card to the grave. Draw 2 cards. Fortune Lady Fire is on the picture of this card and is one of the other extensions of draw cards this archetype has. Next up is Fortune Lady Calling. It is a normal spell card. If you control a face of Fortune Lady, so summon one Fortune Lady monster from your deck with a different name from the cards you control. Also, for the rest of the turn, as this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck except for synchros. You can only activate one Fortune Calling per turn. So this is pretty much just a great way to help get out cards like Fortune Lady Water, Fortune Lady Pass, take advantage of Pass's ability, and go for a synchro summon of the beautiful Fortune Lady Every. Of course, we have to talk about the next card, and that is Fortune's Vision. Fortune's Vision, continuous spell. When this card is activated, just like Fire Formation Tinky, you can add one of the respective uh, Archetype cards to your hand. For Fortune's Vision is adding one Fortune Lady card from your deck to your hand. Then once per turn, if a card you control is banned, if cards you control are banished by a card effect, except during damage step, you can make sure all of your cards cannot be destroyed. All your monsters cannot be destroyed by card effects, even if this card leaves the field. Then once a turn, if an opponent's cards are banished, by card effects, except during damage step, you can make the next round of damage you take 0, even if this card leaves the field. You only activate one Fortune's Vision per turn. The indication of those cards that are on Fortune's Vision are in the colors of each of the Fortune Ladies. The purple for Fortune Lady Dark, the brown for Fortune Lady Earth, the green for Fortune Lady Wind, the red for Fortune Lady Fire, the blue for Fortune Lady Water, and the yellow for Fortune Lady Light. Also, to indicate the eye symbol that is attached to them is also on the Fortune Ladies themselves. Now, we do have to talk about the indirect field spell of the Fortune Ladies, and that is Future Visions. Future Visions effect is when a monster is almost summoned, banish that monster. During the next standby phase of the controller's turn who summoned that monster, it is returned to the field in face-up attack position. So this is pretty much a way to trigger cards off like Fortune Lady Light and her abilities such as the Fortune Ladies to the field. We did see this card in the anime where Miss Carmine used it to summon Fortune Lady Light, special summon Fortune Lady Fire, blew up one of her opponent's monsters, had a battle trap ready to protect her Fortune Lady Fire, and then was able to have both of her Fortune Ladies on the field, tributing them to summon the Earthbound Immortal, Asilip Hisku. Now, for the child cards of the Fortune Ladies, we have Inherit Fortune. This card's effect is during the turn a face-up Fortune Lady monster you control was destroyed. You can start summon 2 Fortune Lady monsters from your hand during your next standby phase. We have Fortune Lady Light, Wind, and Earth in this card's picture. Then we have Fortune Lady Rewind. This trap card effect is target any number of banished Fortune Lady monsters with a different name, so to summon to the field, but shuffle them back into the deck during the end phase. You can only activate one Fortune Lady Rewind per turn. So the great combination of this card, of course, is it gets you a ton of Fortune Ladies to the field, and since many of them do not share the same name, you can use their abilities to trigger off, such as Fortune Lady Water and Fortune Lady Dark, featured on this card's artwork. You can also summon the beautiful Fortune Lady Water, have her ability trigger because there's another Fortune Lady that's on the field except for a copy of her, and draw 2 cards from it. We have the trap card Bending Destiny. If all monsters you control are face up on the field are Fortune Lady, you can negate the activation of a spell, trap card, or the normal summon of a monster. Remove that card from play. The card that is banished, I'm sorry, I gotta update the text. The card that is banished by this card's effect is returned to the owner's hand during the end phase. And then the last card is the Trap Slip of Fortune. You activate this card when your opponent declares an attack targeting a monster, negate the attack, and banish the monster that was the attack target until the next standby phase. So, that's pretty much it for all of the Fortune Lady cards here and all of the support for the Fortune Ladies. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video as I took it through both the Fortune Ladies and the last video taking it through the Fortune Fairies. I have a link to the Fortune Ladies and the Fortune Fairies for you guys if you guys want to see that video as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will catch you guys next time. HBJ signing out. Take care.